What up guys, it's Jules here, aka your Southwest Savage, alongside Adam Hank Scorpio Nicholas. You might know him from the NXT Takeaway. And we had the pleasure of staying up until 4 AM this morning watching wrestling, only to come to work and try and record a video on it, and found out that the security guard was just taking a goddamn nap or something.
Yeah, I mean the one job, just be there.
Be there.
4 o'clock-ish, just do it. I mean, you're getting paid to do it.
If you're watching this, mate, thanks, appreciate it. But we're here now, and we have all of our thoughts on the Survivor Series 2017 pay-per-view. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the 7 main matches that are on the card, and give them a rating out of 5. Because that's what we do. We care.
And we love a good star rating as well here at WhatCulture. So
we do, mate. So with that in mind, let's get some oil on the gears and get greasy. I'll
get greasy.
I'll take the first one.
Hot tag.
Okay, this was a damn good match to kick things off, if a little shaky when it came to ring psychology. From what we can tell, the New Day were meant to be the bad guys of this exchange because they did, after all, allow the Bar to steal the Raw Tag Team titles. But it is very hard to hate them when they are this relentlessly charming, something that I know all too well about. A fair few falls and some very exciting spots meant that neither team looked particularly weak in this exchange, and you know what, Xavier Woods can take a Superman punch like a goddamn champ. However, the only thing that we felt while watching this is we've seen both of these teams wrestle better matches, and it felt that this was a little bit clunkier than we would have liked. To be fair though, we got the best that we could hope for from an opening match, in that it was by the numbers, but at the same time it riled up the crowd in all the right ways, and for that, we thank you. For that reason, 3.5 stars. Give us a tag, Nix.
Come here. So next up we had the Women's Traditional Survivor Series match. First off, Alicia, love the hat, very you. I could see Jules in one of them, just really suits his kind of head. You reckon, Jules?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might like that. Yeah, so this was a bit of a mess, but it had a positive outcome in the end. It began with a surprise elimination of Becky Lynch, which sounded a little bit like this where I was watching the show. What? Then things escalated when Tamina, aka SmackDown's answer to what does dead air look like in human form, started to kick the living tar out of Bayley. This was done to build some heat for the showdown between Tamina and Nia Jax, which looked like it was trying to be Godzilla versus King Kong, but actually probably looked like 2 bald men fighting over a comb.
I find that offensive.
Sorry man, I forgot you were there, sorry, my bad. That's on me. This probably could have been something, were it not for the fact it ended in like a really disappointing count out and Tamina eliminated Nia Jax essentially, which was just, nah. The match got very botchy very quickly, with Naomi pinning Alicia Fox, which actually didn't look like a pin at all. It looked like she was about to then kick out and go for a submission. I wonder if the referee had somebody in his ear saying, cut this match short. In the end though, all danger was averted when we got what we wanted. Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, came in, kicked the bejesus out of Natalya, Tamina, absolutely wiped the floor with them, and that's exactly what we wanted. Asuka versus the world, she kicked ass, the undefeated streak remains intact, and I guess that did help to recover from what was an initially rocky start. 3.5 stars from the boys here, and now I think it's time to tag out. Jules, my man.
Right, okay, so Baron Corbin is on a bit of a weird one as of late. I mean, thanks to backstage politics and some pretty awful booking in his favour, he's ended up as being one of the least effective US title holders to date. The Miz, on the other hand, has elevated the Intercontinental Championship to no end and is in every way possible a good boy. Basically what I'm trying to say is it was clear that Corbin had to win this match if he's ever to be taken seriously, which he did. But for the most part, it was clunky and slow. Now, to their credit, the Miztourage did their bit to hype up the Lone Wolf, using their meddling to get the fans behind Mr. Sad Belly so that he could then unleash on The Miz. But the best thing was, it was the last 2 minutes of this match which really let you peek under the hood and see the monster that is there. In this last exchange, Corbin looked like a genuine, threatening man. Somebody who was actually believable, and this is a guy we need to see more of. It's a shame that the rest of the match was a bit stale, but this is promising for the young pup. And for that reason, 3 stars. Woof!
Following on from that, we had the Usos versus the Bar. Oh, how I love hearing Cesaro say that with a mouth guard in. Yes, this was an absolute belter. Gorgeous strikes, dramatic saves, and inventive double teamwork. This was an absolute cracker. The finish alone was, in a word, fabulous. These are 2 teams who we know can do really good work in the ring, and they can do great work on the mic. And when the worst thing we can say about this is Sheamus's Nan's hair highlights, that's saying something. They worked so well together, with the Bar providing the heavy hitting and the muscle, you know, big lads, and then you had the Usos who were providing the technical limb work and the high-flying madness. It was the kind of match that left you wanting more, and I have to say, between the two tag teams, it's easy to see why they are the respective champions of their brand. The Usos may have got the win, but in fairness, there were no losers here, and that is exactly why I came in with a whopping 4 stars. And I think that's time for a hot tag. Jules?
Okay, so Alexa Bliss is not a great technical wrestler, and this was not a technical masterclass by any means. However, she is one of the best performers, the best in-ring performers that they've got right now. Bliss sold this match as if it was a matter of life or death, and her in-ring performance elevated this match as a whole. She's so easy to buy as this sort of slimy heel character, and her mid-ring meltdown left us all in stitches. And it was that good that it allows us to maybe look over a few fluffed moments that she had, like, what was she doing with that leg? They tried to cover it on the commentary. They didn't. Charlotte, on the other hand, is the queen. Hands down, she is one of the best female wrestlers in the company right now, if not one of the best wrestlers overall. She's that good. She oozes charisma. She's tall. She's strong. God damn, do I have a crush on her. And it's always good to see her kick the absolute face of Alexa Bliss and steal the victory. 3.5 stars.
Ooh. The penultimate match of the night was Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, versus AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, and it did not disappoint. If there was any doubt who is the best wrestler in the company at the moment, then AJ Styles put that to bed last night with a truly outstanding performance. Now on paper, this had bad news for AJ Styles written all over it. However, it actually ended up being a match of the year candidate. Styles' selling and storytelling were absolutely amazing, the work of a master craftsman, and I feared the worst, to be fair, as Brock was just throwing him around the ring like an empty bloody tracksuit. Nevertheless, it made AJ Styles' comeback all the more meaningful. He had an all-out aerial assault of absolute magic on Brock at one point. He even had him in the calf crusher. Brock looked like he was going to tap, and then of course Brock decided, I'm going to remind you that I am the biggest, nastiest man on the planet, smashing Styles' head off the canvas repeatedly. It was brutal. I'm not going to lie, it was brutal, but excellent, very believable, very real. In the end though, it was the finish we'd all anticipated. Styles going for the phenomenal forearm, Brock catching him on his shoulders despite what looked like nearly buckling one of his knees. And then boom, F5, 1, 2, 3. Take absolutely nothing away from AJ Styles though. He comes out of this looking like an absolute champ, and I think it would be fair to say this was a clinic from the best wrestler in the company at the moment, and Paul Heyman said as much in his post-match interview. An excellent match all around, reflected in the fact that this one got a nice 4.5 stars because it was absolutely delightful. Oh god, I'm exhausted. Jules!
Now we come to the main event, and as we all know, you can have a great card, but if the last match is a bit of a stinker, then that's all that people are going to remember. And unfortunately, this was a bit ripe. Things started well though, with indie boners and NXT throwbacks being chucked about, and it did seem that this was going to be a match for the absolute ages. We got to see Shinsuke Nakamura take Triple H on an all-expenses-paid tour of his foot. We got to see Balor and Nakamura square off in an NXT throwback style. And we also got to see Bobby Roode outgloriousing Triple H. If it's not a word, it should be. Then we saw Roode and Nakamura get kicked to the curb quicker than Patrick Bateman's prostitutes. And bye-bye Sheen, that was gone. I mean, there's the next generation. Let's keep them down. Time for the oldies to have a shuffle, right? I mean, I guess we can take solace in the fact that it was Braun Strowman who put them out, but still. As the match went on, we got to see interferences, infighting, and Shane looking quite annoyed at Braun for going through his table. It's like, I wanted to jump through that. But regardless, what we were left with was 3 legends and 1 monster. It was very weird. It also highlighted that time is a cruel mistress, with Kurt Angle looking a bit slow on his feet and Triple H not looking as huge as he was back in the day. And Shane, well, Shane always looked like a Cabbage Patch Kid, really, didn't he? But also, it does raise the point, why did Kurt not let Jason Jordan, his son, join in the match because he had injuries when he himself was nursing one? Bad parenting, that is. Lead by example. Also highlighted was Triple H's anger, because after he turned on Kurt, he then had a go at Braun, which is not a good move. That's like trying to climb a mountain with your goddamn teeth. It was very confusing and messy, and in the grand scheme of things did very little to move anything forward, apart from maybe giving Braun a little bit more of a rub as his monster among men gimmick, but he's already pretty strong, and the only other thing is that it gave a lot more daft storyline options to the writers. Raw had won the night, but because of the late game twists, no one was sure what the point of this was. And that was the feeling that we left with, which is a shame. And that's why I can only give it 2.5 stars.
And that's our rating for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
And then go back to WhatCulture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules.
I've been Adam Nicholas.
We'll speak to you soon.
Sacrifice.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to subscribe below, and also the people who made this video, they're right here, so go and follow them and give them some love. If you want to see more content, there's probably some stuff flowing up above my head. Why not check it out? It could be fun. I'm not your dad.